And looks like we're live. Hello, and welcome to the 741 channel. Thank you for stopping by. Tonight I'm going to do a second live stream here, and I'm more testing things out here than I am really doing anything else. I was on live earlier, and I was having quite a bit of trouble with choppiness and my computer's CPU power, so I've made some adjustments in OBS in some of the settings, and I've adjusted my screen resolution, so hopefully that's going to help. Now I just wanted to do kind of a quick live stream more for my own benefit to test all that out and see if it really is helping or not. So anyway, let's tune around a little bit here and see what we can hear. Let's see. I'm going to start, I guess, on 80 meters. For those of you who are new to my channel, what I'm running here is the SDRplay RSP1A, and the software that you should be able to see on the screen here is SDRuno. So I'm going to start up the radio here, and we're going to tune around. I'm going to start in the 80 meter ham band, and we'll go from there, I guess. Let's see if we can hear any conversations. Now, let's see. So there we've got a signal. So we'll listen here for a minute and just do some settings. Again, what I'm doing here is more testing my setup than anything else, just to see if I've got the settings in OBS correct now, and I can stream SDRuno and all that live with a webcam without too much dropping out or audio issues or things like that. So let's just fool around here a bit, use the radio, and see how everything works. It sounds like a DX station. So I can see here from the CPU usage that we seem to be doing okay with this setup, at least from that standpoint. Hopefully I'm not getting any dropouts or anything like that at the moment. Okay. So that sounds good to me. Hopefully it's coming through the video.
I never had an antenna this close to the ground. It seems like everybody's talking to me just like it's no business.
Alright, we've got a stronger signal here. So we'll see how that taxes things. Now at the moment, I'm running 2.2 megahertz bandwidth with 4 decimations. So we're keeping the bandwidth fairly narrow here just to keep things easy on this old CPU. Alright, so we got somebody tuning up there. How do I put the notch filters on with this? Here we go.
Hey Jim, what's going on? Not much, just trying to get
so
together.
It does seem to be working.
Remember that place?
Is any place like that good by you?
There's a lot better places than
These signals are fairly strong. And again, it seems like the CPU usage is doing okay. It spikes up a little bit. I don't know if that affects the audio or the video at all when that happens, but it seems like it's better than it was earlier tonight anyway. So I think I've gone a step in the right direction. Now I don't know if the video is a little bit fuzzy compared to what it was before, but that's probably better than the dropouts and the choppiness, I would think. So that's 80 meters. I'll keep tuning around a bit to see if anything interesting comes up. Now, of course, the bands haven't been that good lately, but I haven't really been listening either. Alright, I think I'm going to change bands. I want to go up to the 40 meter band and see what I can hear there.
Roger, this is Whiskey 4 Golf Bravo 42 Sierra 3 Delta in South Africa. If you'd like to get away, please come now with your call sign. Standing by. November Yankee 2 Fox.
So this is interesting.
Stand by. We'll call Danny at the top of the hour. Give me some more guys.
Oh, I've never heard it done quite this way before. I mean, this is probably not a new thing, but I kind of live under a rock. But I don't know if you guys can hear what's going on here, but it sounds like there's a DX station in South Africa, but there's somebody stateside taking a list of people. He's taking a list of people that want to contact the South Africa station, and it sounds like he's going to pass that list to the station at the top of the hour, and then that station will call the ones that are on the list, and that'll prevent pileups. That's interesting.
Anyone who'd like to get on the list and talk with Danny this evening in about 8 or 9 minutes, please come now with your call.
So there you go. That's an interesting way to avoid pileups. And like I said, maybe that's a practice that's been going on for a long time, but I've never heard it before, or never heard anybody talk about it. So you always learn something. Well, I'm going to keep tuning around. Maybe we'll come back to this frequency later at the top of the hour when that South Africa station comes back, and see if we can hear them. I'll write that down so I don't forget it. And I'm going to keep tuning around, I guess. Let's see. Okay, keep tuning. Whoops. So let's see what this is. So 40 meters seems like it's fairly quiet tonight in terms of noise level, so the signals are good. Oh, you just unplugged your RSP there. Did you hear anything good tonight? Oh, here comes a sweep signal. So I'm curious there how everything looks and sounds here tonight. I'm trying a little bit different settings and things with the streaming software and with my computer. I have an old computer, and it doesn't like all this work I'm asking it to do, running the SDRuno and the streaming and all that. I tried streaming earlier this evening just to kind of do a quick video for somebody, and it was really choppy. But I fooled around with the settings a bit, and I think it's better. So let me know what you think. Does everything look okay and sound okay to you while we kind of tune around here?
And that's okay. No, I only have you on the system. I know you've been in here more than twice, but I don't have you.
Video's okay and complete audio. Okay, I know the audio is not as good as it could be if I used a better microphone, but this computer has got some kind of issue with the audio, and it picks up an artifact from the CPU or something, and it gets into the audio no matter what I do if I put an external microphone on it. So that's out. But the microphone that's in this webcam seems to work. It's not the best quality, but you know, it works for this, I guess. So again, that was really why I fired this up tonight, was more to test that than anything else and see if this setup would work and be kind of watchable. Okay, good enough, no complaints. Good. That's good to know. So maybe I'll keep this set up for a while for doing live streams, I guess. So I'm not sure what's on the bands here tonight. I figured I'd just fire this up and kind of tune around. We got a South Africa station that might be coming on at the top of the hour. I wrote that down so we can go and listen to that. But yeah, I don't know what else is going to be on tonight here. So I'll just kind of go through the bands a bit. I'm sure anything above 40 is going to be dead, but we could check it and see. Actually, it might be interesting to check 10. I don't think anything's going to be there, but there will be Sunday morning. I know there's a net on 10 on Sunday mornings, but there's not going to be anything there now. But every now and then, you heard Colombia on 80. Yeah, excuse me. I thought I heard Guatemala in there when we first fired up too. So the band is getting a little bit long. Yeah, 10 and 20, it's too late. I was looking for some local stuff. I know there's some guys that run 10 meters locally. I just don't know when they're on. It's probably more during the week. And then on Sunday mornings, we have a local 10-meter net here, too. There's always a possibility someone's on 6. Now, this is getting choppy. I can hear it. So I'll set that down there. And I'll unlock that. And I'll try. I keep seeing this computer out of the corner of my eye. It makes me want to turn my head. Let's see. 1. Here's the calling frequency. We're not going to hear anything on 6 either, but not this time of night. Well, maybe we are. What's this? Oh, some CW. Now that's kind of a strange spot for CW on 6. Normally I would think that would be lower down. Now, I used to be able to copy CW about 15 years ago, but I've lost it now. I'm not going to be able to copy that. Let's see, some guys do 28,350 ground wave at night. Good for 20 to 30 miles. Yeah, we do a ground wave net here in Connecticut Sunday mornings. Well, I don't usually check in. I maybe get in there once a year. But I do listen to it. And it's a good group of guys, and it's probably a good 50-mile radius or so on Sunday mornings. So that's kind of a neat net to listen to. I like 10. We had a couple of guys in my radio club. We had a Tuesday night 10-meter net for a while, but it kind of broke up and disbanded, and we haven't been doing it lately. But that was about, like you said, 20 to 30 miles. We'd get guys, and it was a good little net. 10's a nice band. It's usually pretty quiet, the background noise, and it's not too crowded. But it's interesting to hear CW up here on 6 at this frequency. And like I said, I wish I could copy that like I used to be able to. And that's not too fast either. So I wonder if that's somebody either practicing or just a couple of guys, you know, testing or something. So let's see if we can hear the other station. Oh, okay, so you're not hearing anything on 50.349. So, yeah, I wouldn't expect you to, but you never know. 6 can carry. up to you know, a couple 100 miles. So I've made contacts on 6 from here to Maine on 10 watts, but the guy on the other end has, you know, the mega station, the big gun station with the stacked, you know, antenna arrays and all that. So it's all on his end, not mine. But, but it can be done. 6 is a good band too. I get on here a couple nights a week. There's a bunch of guys that talk, have a rag chew net. I try and jump in and join them when I have the time. But they're usually on a little too early for me. They're usually on when we're just getting done with dinner. And by the time I get down here, they're signed off. All right, so that's just noise. I'm going to tune around a bit and see what else I can hear. And just for the heck of it, I'm going to keep going up into the VHF band. And we're probably not going to hear too much on 2 either. But I'll stop by 2 just to see what we're getting. 50 megahertz makes your CCTV go wacko. Yeah, that was the problem back in the day. You know, it was tough for guys to run 6 because they were messing up everyone's TVs. Now it's not such an issue, except when you have, you know, a situation like you have. It was funny when I first put my 6-meter antenna up. I got a 6-meter antenna real cheap. It's a 5-element beam, and I paid like $50 for it at Nearfest. And it was way more antenna than I need on 6, but it was cheap, you know, and I'm a cheapskate, so I can't turn down a deal. Anyway, I put it up on the roof, and for a while, when I would point it that direction towards the long side of the house, it would set off my smoke alarms, even on 10 watts. So I had to make some changes and get that corrected because the wife didn't appreciate that too much. Every time I keyed up, the smoke alarms went off. But we're all set now. That doesn't happen anymore. Let's see. That's just noise. That's not going to be good. But let me tune off of that for a minute. And then let's bring the bass up. Yeah, it's a quiet night. I got in here a little bit later than I wanted to. I was, like I said, I was fooling with the computer and getting the settings kind of worked out on it. So we're not going to hear a lot. Not up here anyway. What? I went up. What did I do? I went up 10 megahertz. There's something there. Let's switch that to FM, actually. I don't know what that would have been. A little blip. Yep, set my alarms off when an extension cord was plugged in under the dipole on 80. Yeah, that'll do it. That RF just travels and gets all different places where it doesn't belong. It has a mind of its own. Let's see. We got a little bit here. Or is that noise? No, I think those are signals. Let's see what they are.
On scene, just needs assistance getting up.
Okay. I don't know what that would be. I don't know my VHF frequencies. But we got something there. EMS type stuff. We'll squelch it up a little bit. See if he comes back in. I don't know what that exact frequency was, but and let me see. I'm going to add a little decimation here. Just well, now there's a spike. Well, that's not good for anybody. Pager. Okay, that's pretty local though. You can see how strong that was. Well, there's a tower down the road. It's a cell phone tower, but look at that. Every time that thing keys up, you can see the whole noise floor just lift. That's strong. That's going to be close. Like I said, there is a tower down the road, but it's a cell phone tower. More digital stuff there. Oh, no, that's voice. Oops, I tuned it too fast. Okay, so something's going on there. Yeah, that stupid pager signal.
Police officer, first responder, also responding to 14 Western Street.
Okay, on the message. I'll be there in about 10 minutes.
Okay. I don't know where that's out of. That didn't sound like a familiar street. So that might be a little distance from here. But every time that nearby pager signal or whatever that is kicks in, it screws everything up there for a minute. Here's another spike. Let's see what that is. I have a feeling what we're hearing up here are Massachusetts signals. I'm not positive of that, though. Looks like there's two right close together there.
21 Kellogg Avenue, homeowner states that their interior basement door is open and the basement light is on, and neither of them recall going into the basement. They're concerned. Husband was upstairs asleep and wife was in the kitchen. They'll be both living outside from you. 21 Kellogg would be the resident.
Well, that's interesting. There. Yeah, we're having a little trouble with that guy. I wonder. Let's see. No, I guess there's no way to notch that out. But so we're getting some EMS stuff here, which again, I don't know where it's coming from. I'd have to sit here and listen to it for a while and see if I could figure it out based on street names or if they'd mention a town. But that's interesting. I'm going to tune around a little bit more here. Yeah, I wonder what that paging thing is. Oh, that's some kind of digital thing there. More digital stuff. Everything's going digital. Alright, so probably not going to hear much down there. Went too far. This is what I was after. Let's see what this is. I'm up in the railroad frequencies now. And I don't know my railroad frequencies offhand. Not all of them anyway. I don't know that there'd be any railroads running this time of night, but we can certainly listen for a minute. Let's tune this up a bit. There we go. Digital. Let's see. The local, well, I don't remember this frequency, I guess, either. I think this is the local railroad dispatch frequency. Now, around here we have some smaller railroad short lines that are still analog. I was listening to them the other day. I just don't remember the frequency. I don't think they'd be running right now anyway. Their old frequency, what was that? I just missed something. There it is.
Bring in those people that are already in government to investigate this special counsel working in a team.
Oh.
I want to emphasize the word team with the inspector.
This is an interesting signal. You can probably hear it there. I wonder if I need to widen it out. It's a little fuzzy. But I think what this is I'll turn it down so that you guys can hear me. What I think this is a translator. I'll call it a translator. That might not be the right word, but it's a rebroadcast of WTIC 1080 AM out of Hartford, Connecticut. I'm not exactly sure why they do it, but they rebroadcast their signals somewhere on VHF, and I think that's what this is. This is just a rebroadcast of what you'd hear on that station. In fact, if I turned on WTIC on the radio over here, we'd probably hear it. Let's do that. Oh, I don't have any antennas hooked up to that.
The same time,
yeah.
2016, I was using him.
Yep, that's what that is. That's the WTIC rebroadcast. Again, I don't know why they do that, but it's there. So let's see what else might be up here. First, we're going to get the weather band here. Yep, we'll get those stations.
It was 29.87 inches and steady. And now for some observations for the remainder of Connecticut. Throughout the area, it was fair.
The audio sounds a little fuzzy on this. I don't know if it's because of the streaming or... Oh, I had that notch filter on. That's what that was. So those are all the local weather stations. That one's out of Massachusetts. This one is local. Come on, cooperate. This one here is only a couple miles away from me.
Except in the lower 30s, about 1,000 feet. West winds 15
Let's see, what's the next one?
With gusts up to 40 miles.
Couldn't quite hear what he was saying. Yeah, I couldn't quite make out where he was. I wasn't right on the right frequency there. It sounded like maybe that one was New Hampshire. Oh, there we go.
Cold. Highs in the mid-30s. Lows around 15.
Oh, jeez, I keep going off.
Northwest winds 5 to 10
there we
miles
go.
an hour with gusts up.
And again, I don't know where any of these are, but they're coming in pretty strong.
In the morning, then becoming partly sunny. Cold with highs in the mid-30s.
So that's good. All right, that seems to be working.
Tuesday night, mostly cloudy.
Let's see. I'm going to go back down to HF here just for a minute, and we'll tune around on 80 and see what we can hear on 80. Oh, that's right. I had that South Africa station I was going to tune into. So we'll try that, and then maybe we'll call it a night after that. Let's see.
Roger, roger. Okay, let's keep going here. Alpha 8, Charlie, Chet, it's all yours.
Okay, so... So there you go. We can hear the guy from South Africa, no problem. So the band is working pretty good, I'd say. I wonder if I would have been able to talk to him if I got on that list, if he would have been able to hear me. I'm only running 100 watts on a dipole, so it's hard to say. But but we're hearing them here. No issues.
Going to Marty, kilowatt 4 Mexico. Marty, your call.
Oh, you can hear it too. Okay, good. Now, what do you have for a setup over there? What radio are you using, and what do you got for an antenna? Excuse me. Maybe you've told me before. I just don't remember. Oh, there's Hunter in there. Yep, I decided to do some streaming tonight. I was on earlier and it was lousy. This computer just isn't cooperating. And I played with the settings after everybody else upstairs went to bed, and I got it working. I think it's working okay now. It's not dropping out, and the audio should be at least listenable, if not somewhat decent. Okay, so you got an FTDX 1200 and a 535-foot loop. Wow, that's a nice setup. The 1200 is a nice radio. A friend of mine has one, and he loves it. It's a good radio. The loop must work well for you too. I've thought about experimenting with a loop here. I've got the room for it, but I just haven't gotten around to doing it yet. My dipole works so good that I've just been kind of using it. Let's see, you blew up the RF transistor in your Eton due to ESD through the antenna. Damn metal doors. Yeah, you know, I've got the same problem with my old Radio Shack DX440. It's kind of deaf because the RF transistor burned up, and I don't know why. Actually, the DX440 was my dad's. I bought it for him when I was in college, I think. And he listened to it all the time. And then when he passed away, I inherited it. And, of course, I broke it. So I still have it. I just got to replace that transistor someday. Now, is that something you'll be able to replace on your radio, Hunter? Let's see. You love the loop. Better than your dipole and the 20-meter loop. Way better receive. Well, maybe I'll try it. My friend that has the 1200 also runs a loop. He's got a 80-meter loop that he put up, and it works real well for him. But yeah, maybe I should try it one of these days. Well, when it warms up and we get rid of the snow, maybe I'll start making plans for it. I have thought about it. Screw winter. ESD. Why is ESD even a thing? You want your transistor back? Yeah, I think so. I have a friend who can solder a new one. Should be okay. Just need to get the part. Yeah, it's probably a surface mount, I would assume. Surface mount transistor. Probably pretty small. That's how they do it nowadays. Although you never know with the Chinese stuff. Could be anything, I suppose. Oh, surface mount. Yeah, I've had some success soldering surface mount. I've got sort of a solder station here, and I'm sort of in the business of electronics manufacturing, so I kind of know all that stuff. I'm not a solderer, and I haven't done much at work, but I've got enough to be able to fix my own stuff and replace parts when I need to. But just go slow, you guys will get it. Just finding the part. Well, the problem is you'll be able to order the part if you can figure out what the part number is. But it's going to cost you, $6 to ship a 10-cent part probably. Unless you can take it out of something else. So we're hearing the South Africa guy. It's too bad you don't have your radio, Hunter. You could try and see if you could hear this guy. But you could try your old Panasonic. Although he is kind of weak. You probably need an external antenna. Yeah, well, save your money or whatever. Maybe you can pick one up. These I really like these SDRplay units. They're fairly inexpensive for what they do. You can always try and buy one of those little dongles. I have one. No, I gave it to my friend. you know, they're only 20 bucks or whatever on Amazon, 15, something like that. But they don't really tune down to HF unless you fool with them and convert them. And by the time you're done doing that, you might as well just have got an RSP. Oh, you'd work them, but it's out of band for you. Oh, is it? Oh, yeah, it is. It's too low for general. I guess you're a general, right? Maybe you've told me. You gave the Panasonic to your little brother as a gift for passing a math test. Well, that's good. That's a nice brotherly thing to do, and it also spikes his interest in the hobby. Yeah, I'd go for the RSP1A if I were you. That's what I'm running now. It's a good unit. And if you keep your eyes open, they go on sale sometimes at HRO, so maybe you can get a few bucks off. Yeah, go big or go home. Yep, general. Yeah, I passed my extra a few years back, so I guess I can go anywhere, although I hardly ever get on. But, well, I shouldn't say that. I get on 6 regularly, and lately I've been on 2 a lot. I have a friend that lives in an apartment, and the only thing he can get on is 2, so we've been using 2 meters. So you have the RSP2 Pro with the metal case. How do you like the RSP2? I haven't used one. I've just got the 1 and the 1A. And I like them both, but I've thought about the 2. I think the performance on HF is a little better, maybe. 119 now. That's not bad. I wonder if they'll put them on sale around Easter. I know sometimes they run some specials. I don't know if that would be one of the things they discount, but I know around Christmas time, but you probably don't want to wait that long. But they're a nice unit. You know, I like it. I mean, for me, I guess it's kind of a mixed bag. When I play radio, I like a real physical radio with knobs and dials, you know, these things back here, because I sit in front of a computer all day. But you can't deny the performance of these things for what they are and what you can do and see and all that sort of thing. So they are an interesting technology, and I wish I've just got to find the time to do more with mine. I've been meaning to do the weather satellite reception, and I just haven't gotten around to do it. You know, I've got so many other things going on between work and family and all that sort of thing that it's just one of those things. I got to carve out the time and sit down, figure out how it works, and do it, type of a thing. So let's see. Kaz is in here. He really enjoys his RSP1A, though I prefer SDR console to SDRuno. Yeah, I like SDR console too. I think it's a great piece of software. I slightly prefer this, though, for whatever reason. I know it's a little complicated for some people, the interface and everything, but for me, I like it. But console is good too. I sometimes, well, I'll go through spells where I'll run console for a few weeks, and then I'll switch back to this. I like them both. I don't really care for HD SDR. I've used it a bit, and it works. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with it, but I prefer console or SDRuno. Let's see. Hunter likes real radio with knobs too, but I'm laying about at home. I wouldn't mind tuning around with the computer. Yeah, it's. I'll do either. You know, like I say, I go through mood swings or whatever. Depends on what mood I'm in, so to speak. What I really wanted to do with this one, and I have tried it, I'm able to listen to music and things at work while I work sometimes, and but I can't get a radio. I'm too far in the building. You know, it's a steel frame building, and there's all kinds of manufacturing equipment and all that going on. But I can't use a real radio, so I did bring this in. I put a wire around my desk. All my coworkers thought I was nuts. And I hooked this thing up, and I tried it at work, and I could get a few FM stations with it, which was more than I could with the portable radio. But but I couldn't get anything else with it, so I ended up bringing it home. But it was something I could use in the background at work, you know, run it on my computer and do my work while I was listening to stuff. Let's see, the FTDX 1200 is under 900 now. You paid $11.50. Yeah, I don't want to tell you what my buddy paid who bought one. I think it was more than that. In fact, he'll comment on that on the air sometimes. Our other buddy will kind of needle him a little bit about it, actually. But it is what it is. They're good radios. But yeah, you can get a good deal on them now, I guess. If I was in the market for a radio, that would be on my list. But I'm not in the market for an HF radio right now. Try 80. That might be booming now. Yeah, it was before. There was some signals on there, so we'll cut over in just a second. Let's see. So Kaz says he's curious what you have for an antenna, and Hunter 80 is booming. Okay, so we'll switch over to 80. My antenna is a 40 and 80 meter fan dipole that's out in my side yard in the trees, and it's up in the air in the trees, maybe about 15 feet or so. So it's a low dipole, and it's cut for those bands I do transmit on those. I'm a ham and use them every so often, but it works great. I can receive everything from 160 or even broadcast band all the way up to VHF with it, and it works just fine. So yeah, I'll stop babbling. We'll go to 80. You guys got a particular frequency you want me to go to, or should we just kind of scan around a bit? I'll see what we can get here.
We're going to go next to Beijing, China. We're going to jump on across to China. We're going to Australia.
So this guy's going on a trip.
Lord have mercy. How many periods do you
have a horizontal loop at 230 feet in length and about 40 feet up. Well, that ought to work pretty good for you, I would think. A friend of mine has a similar antenna, and he has pretty good luck with it. I don't think his is even up that high. But yeah, that ought to work pretty good for you. Where are you, Kaz? I'm just curious where you're located. I'm here in Connecticut, and a couple of other guys in the chat here are also in the New England area. So we're all kind of local. So we got.
They've lit up the Great Wall of China in green. Have you seen that? Oh no, I didn't know they. I didn't even.
This guy's talking about the Great Wall. Let's see. 36. Works well. Horizontal length, I have no issues, but I don't have the ability to do much height at the moment. Location is Florida. Okay. Yeah, I really can't do much height either. And when I transmit, I stay pretty much on 80 or 40 and use the antenna, in the sort of NVIS configuration, more or less on 80 in that config. And then 40, it is what it is, and 20. I'll make contacts on 20 and 17 and even 15 once in a while. And I can get into Europe, if people are patient with me. I'm just running 100 watts. And it works okay for that. Height would be better. I could try and get it higher up in the trees. I have some pretty tall trees here, but I've got it low in the trees just so it's easier to maintain and I'm less susceptible to lightning. I've had that issue here too. I almost lost my my Elecraft due to lightning. Luckily, it wasn't hooked up. It was I had the antenna unhooked. It was on my desk. We got a lightning strike, struck a tree in the backyard. Lightning came through wherever, and it came out the end of the coax and burned a hole in the manual that it was sitting on top of. Actually, it was the manual for the K3. I had just gotten it. Okay, I went up too high. Let's start at 37 and work our way up a bit. Oops, keep moving the mouse in the wrong register here. going on here? Is that AM? That's a weird... There we go. Let's see, let's go back to this. This is interesting. What are we hearing here? It's not sideband. Is that double sideband? No. It's upper sideband.
I'm not going to be here much longer, but just wanted to say hi to you.
That's weird. Normally you'd run lower sideband on 80. But this guy's running upper sideband. Interesting. Oh, you saw pulse sweep go by? I wasn't focusing. I'm starting to get a little tired. Bulgaria's been booming in the past week or so at night. Any particular frequency?
Listening to everybody. I'm probably going to be getting out of here in a minute because I want to get up early and
that frequency tends to do that a lot. Oh.
Right down to the Keys with my mother-in-law tomorrow and my brother-in-law.
Yeah, I wonder why this guy's running upper sideband. I don't think there's any rule against it. I think it's just a gentleman's agreement that you'd normally run lower on 80.
Okay, well, have a good, safe trip. Drive safe and have fun with the family and, you know, enjoy
You hear it on 20.
And it's always
hey, and there's Buzz. How you doing, Buzz? We're just messing around. I'm more testing everything out to make sure it's working properly than anything else here tonight. I was having trouble with my computer. I was thinking of you because I think I need more memory. Oh, right after the sun goes down. Yeah, that's a good time for DX. Gray line or whatever type of stuff, and it just seems like a good time. I've made some pretty good contacts at that time too.
Okay, 7-3 now, and I do hear another station in there, so gonna catch the call sign.
Yeah, Del. Well, this computer I'm running is a junk HP. They're even worse. I don't even know why I bought this thing. I got a good deal on it, I guess. It wasn't new. It's used, but I was cheaping out like I always do. But I think what I want, I've got my eye on an Asus laptop. I think that's going to be the next acquisition here. I'll be saving my money for that. So if nothing else comes up, maybe in a month or two, I can get a proper computer and we can get these live streams a little bit better quality. Let's see, anything below 10 megahertz is lower sideband normally. Yeah, that's usually the convention. I don't know why this guy's running upper, but it is what it is. And let's see, did you tell me you worked Easter Island? That sounds familiar. I think you mentioned it the last time we were on a live stream. I think you mentioned it. Because that sounds familiar, and I don't know anybody else that would have worked Easter Island. So that's a cool contact. Yeah, I think we did talk about that because I asked you if you were going to get a card, and I think we talked about you don't really worry about that stuff, and neither do I, really. So yeah, that's a good contact. One of these days I'll do that myself. Let's see, yesterday Kaz was listening to a QSO between F5 IYI, that's too small, I can't read it, and a local person. I find it interesting that I couldn't hear the station nearby, but F5 IJY was in France and heard him loud and clear. That is interesting, the way the bands work. My father-in-law moved to the other side of the state. He lives in southern Connecticut now. And we were trying all different bands, and he's just in that wrong spot. He couldn't get on 80. He doesn't have enough room to put an 80 up. But we were trying 20 and 15, all kinds of different stuff. And, you know, he's just too close. But he went to Florida for the winter, and he put something on his RV. And then I was able to talk to him. He had to go all the way to Florida so we could talk to each other on the radio. And he's only maybe 50 miles away, if that. Yeah, 20 meters is an upper sideband usually. And yeah, anything below 20 is lower, and 20 and up is upper. That's the convention, so I don't know why this guy's doing this. So Buzz has a Lenovo coming Monday. Well, there you go, for the van. But next home will be an Asus. Yeah, you know, I've heard of them, and I've known people that have had them and never gave them much thought. But I was talking to a coworker during the week, actually, earlier in the week, Monday it must have been, and he has an Asus. He's a contract engineer, so he has this Asus that he uses for work, you know, and he has all of his software, all kinds of high-level electrical engineering software on there and stuff, and the thing crapped out on him. So he needed it at least fixed so he could get all of his data off of the thing. So he sent it to Asus. They not only fixed it for him, but they upgraded the memory for him and didn't charge him a thing. The computer was like, I think he said it was like almost 4 years old. So he was real happy with that. He couldn't say enough about them. And he was telling us all about Asus and everything like that. So if you like customer service, they may be the ones to check out. At least he isn't on 7200 or 14313. And then Kaz is asking for the specs on the Lenovo Buzz. Lenovo Asus just brands. Doesn't really help with performance. Yeah, the reason Buzz and I are kind of talking about this is he's had some trouble with Dell. Not only their service, but their purchasing, their sales end. The whole thing just gave him a bunch of trouble. So, yeah, I think you're right, you know, about the specs. The brand isn't so much important in terms of how it's going to perform. It's just if you need any service after the fact, it's dealing with the company, I guess. So you can't speak for Asus with laptops. You've had mixed experience with motherboards. They treat most people as if they don't know what they're doing. Well, see, again, you never know what you're going to get. The guy I work with was real happy with Asus and couldn't say enough good things about them. Now, in the past, now this goes back 15 years, I used to manage a small computer network for my company, and I bought a lot of Dell computers and servers and things like that, and I dealt with Dell directly, and they were great. I had no issue with them. I needed tech support. They helped me. I got American tech support people, and we had a pretty good rapport with Dell, my company, and I, and that's what I bought. But and I've had Dell laptops for the last, well, probably 20 years now for my job, and they've all performed excellent. But I haven't had to deal with their service anymore either. So, and again, it depends on whether you got to contact them or not, I guess is where we're going with that. Let's see, you've worked on computers for years. You know when a motherboard bites the dust, but they want to give you the runaround. Yeah, I know. And that's the case not only with computer companies, but even call the cable company, you're having an issue, and they want you to start from step one. Is it plugged in? Is this, that, the other thing? And like you said, a lot of us already know, what's going on. We probably know more than the guy on the other end. We just need a service ticket created or whatever, but you got to jump through all the hoops. Let's see, once they transfer you to one of their upper tiers, you seem to get right to the point and ask what the symptom is, then issue an RMA. Well, that's good, but yeah, it's too bad you got to go through that lower level and deal with all that before you get there, especially when you know what you're doing, type of a thing. And I used to deal with that when I was doing the computer work for my company, and I needed service. I'd have a bad memory module, and I'd call up because we had service on them, and I'd say, I need a new memory module, and then they'd make me start from scratch. Well, did you check this? Did you check that? And we'd go through the whole spiel, and then 20 minutes later, like you said, they'd be issuing an RMA, and I'd get a memory module a couple days later. So it is what it is. I'm glad I don't do that work anymore, though. That was a thankless job. Let's see. Buzz says he's always bought Dell every 2 years since '96 and had good support. But lately it's gone to hell. No more. Yeah, you know, I don't blame you. Based on what you showed us in your video too, that was something else. You know, it's too bad too. But it seems to be that's the way they're all going. I don't know. CW portion of 80 is hopping, Hunter says. So let's check it out. Oh, I thought I saw something moving over there. Let's see. Yeah, we got a lot going on here. There's some digital stuff. Yep. That's a pretty strong digital signal there. There's your CW. Let's, I guess that's as far in as that zooms. We can decimate this a little more. Let's try and filter one in. Let's see, where's my... Yeah, we're getting in... Need a tighter filter here. There we go. There he is. That's just that CW signal just for you there, Hunter. That's one of the nice things about using these SDRs. You can, you know, play with all the filters and you can just see what you want to tune to and null out the rest of it pretty quickly. That's one of the nice features of it. You know, you can do that on a radio like this too if you've got the right filters, but it just takes longer because you can't see it. You got to kind of tune around, and sometimes you want to do that, and sometimes you want to do this. That's, you know, the way it goes. Let's see. Sometimes it's even worse with family, though. You have to help them for free. But you get the, why is this gone? Well, Mom, your hard drive is dead and you have no backups. There was no bringing it back. Yeah. Yep, I know all about that too. Friends and family and stuff. You try and help them out as much as you can, but you know, they don't sometimes understand everything. So Buzz is asking about how the SDR is working. Plan on running a long wire tomorrow. Mine seems to be working great, as you can hear here. I haven't fired it up much in the last few weeks. I've been busy with stuff, but somebody asked me earlier today to do a quick video on frequency entry, so I did that earlier, and since I had everything set up, I figured I'd fool around and come back online here and fool around with it a bit, but it seems to be doing good. That's W1AW? Okay. See, again, I got to relearn the code. I knew it at one time, and I've lost it because I didn't use it. And W1AW is not far from here. It's only 20 miles southwest or so, 25 miles. In fact, I'm overdue for a visit. I went down there for the first time a year or so ago and operated the station. It was a lot of fun. I was nervous about it because I'm not much of an operator, but once I got through that, it was fun. Let's see, try CW get. What helps until you get, oh, okay. Let's get back into the groove. Yeah, you know, the problem with me is I've got so many other things going on and other interests, and I got a 6-year-old and all that, you know, it's just one of those things that I want to do, but probably won't get to for a while. But if I end up changing my mind, I got a neighbor down the road. He's into it. He's trying to get me back into CW a little bit too. So if enough people nag me, I might do it. I like listening to me tune the bands. Well, I appreciate you stopping in. I don't know. I seem to enjoy doing this. I'm not sure on the live stream, really. But I come and go. Olivia, too. Now, that's obviously another digital mode, but I'm not familiar with that one. That's another thing. That's another thing I want to get into one of these days, is do some digital modes. I've received them. I've set them up with FL Digi and all that sort of thing, but I've never transmitted on digital. And I just need to sit down and do it. You use CW get to decode the CW since I haven't learned properly yet. Oh, okay, so you're still kind of fooling with it too. the way I learned it back in 2003. It's kind of a funny story. I was dating a girl for a long time, 6 years, and she dumped me. She let me go. So without her in my life, I was bored. I'll catch you later, Buzz. We'll catch you another time. Anyway, I was dating this girl. She dumped me. I had nothing else to do. I was up late at night. I got my laptop, and I taught myself CW to get over that portion of my life. So since I learned it at that time, I went and took my test and upgraded to general. At that point, I probably wouldn't have done it if that hadn't happened. So there's W1AW. Now, I heard that they started transmitting on 6. And I wanted to try and tune into that, but I haven't done it yet because I keep forgetting. So there you go. There's another. Is that the Olivia there, Hunter? Yeah, that's got a neat sound to it, whatever that one is. One of these nights I'll have to fire up FL Digi, get it working, and we'll have to just tune around and decode some digital stuff. Let's see, oh, you know what? You're probably right. That probably was them. That would make sense. Do this line by line. You can't get FL Digi to work for the life of me. I had it on this computer, but I reloaded. I completely reloaded this computer a couple of months ago, and I took it off, and I haven't reinstalled it yet. But I had it working. In fact, I made a video about it last year. I had it working with SDRuno, and it was working fine. I was decoding all kinds of stuff. Oh, that's Riddy. Badly tuned. Well, let's open this back up. I'm gonna do that. Let's see what else we can hear. That sideband there. Oh yeah, very good. Yeah, that's right. We were listening to that guy on upper sideband for whatever reason.
Smoking, for some reason, is something I enjoy doing, and I know it's disgusting as it is. I shouldn't do it, but yeah, I do.
Well, don't do it then, buddy. It's funny. Some of these guys are something else. I get a kick out of some of the characters. That actually might be why your stream was in my recommended when I was trying to get FL Digi working. I think I saw that video. Oh, okay. Maybe you did. Yeah, I got my first SDRplay about a year ago, or RSP1 about a year ago, and when I got it, I made a bunch of videos doing all kinds of different stuff with it. And then I got the second one. They actually sent me this one right around Thanksgiving sometime, so I've been fooling with this one. Let's see. I'm narrow. No, I'm in lower sideband now. It looks, this is deceiving. It looks like I'm in narrow FM mode, but it's not. If I were to go to FM, it would use this filter. But that's just showing that filter is there, or active. I wouldn't necessarily call that a bug in the software, but it's something that they probably ought to change.
Someone waits to call sign. So whatever. I mean, if I get it, I get it. If I don't, I'm not going to cry about it.
Oh, you should. It's all right to cry. That's what.
You started with an RTL SDR with experimental drivers. You could get a few stations, but nothing like the proper radio for the job. You know, I did the same thing a few years ago. A friend of mine who's also a ham, he told me about how you could receive the airplane transponders, the ADS-B data, with the RTL dongle. So I got one, and I experimented with that, and that was a lot of fun. I got that working. And then I thought, well, you know, gee, we should be able to use these on HF, but you really can't, not the cheap ones. They don't go down far enough. So I never really heard much on it other than the planes. Mine I couldn't even get like VHF stuff. It just didn't work well. So that's when I decided I wanted a real SDR to play with, and some of the guys in my radio club were talking about them, so I bit the bullet and bought one. They were on sale, and it's great. I love it. It's a neat little thing to have, and it's affordable. I mean, I'd like nothing more than like a flex radio or something so I could transmit too, but that's out of my price range. So, you know, for what this is, I don't think you can beat the bang for the buck on these things. And you can do a lot with them if you sit down and play. I mean, if you look around, there's a lot of guys doing a lot of different things with these things. I mean, some guys are even using these as lab equipment. All right, Hunter, we'll catch you later. I'm not going to be in here much longer either. Probably going to kill it. It's almost midnight here in Connecticut, so. And I got a lot of things to do tomorrow, a typical Saturday, so we'll see. But thanks for stopping in, Hunter.
Check this out. On high, on SSB,
let's see. Are you picking up anything on 3455? Let's give it a try. Not a thing. Pretty dead. Picking up what sounds like air traffic. I wonder what that could be. I've heard stuff like that on HF before. And I don't know. I guess I'm not hearing it tonight. Nothing even close. There's a little digital something there. Yeah, nothing. Yeah, if you tune around long enough on HF, you'll hear all kinds of stuff, you know, weird stuff. Let's see, what do we got here? Oh, we're not even in the band anymore. There. Sometimes I like listening to the ham. Sometimes there's good conversations. And you learn a few things depending on what the guys are talking about. Talking about air conditions and ETAS and whatnot. Found your first number station a week or so ago. Those are cool too. I haven't heard one in a while. When I was a kid, my dad had a shortwave radio in the cellar. Or not in the cellar, in the kitchen. I'm getting tired myself here. And when I first started tuning around shortwave, I heard a lot of number stations and didn't know what they were. And that's sort of what piqued my curiosity with radio, was listening to that stuff and calling my dad over and saying, what the heck is this? What are we listening to? And he didn't know either. You know, we had to kind of figure it out together, and it was kind of cool. But yeah, I haven't heard one recently. There's a website, you probably know about it, but there's a website, HF Underground, that guys are, you know, always listening, and they'll post on there when they hear stuff. So you can monitor that. It's like I think it's more like a forum than anything else, but you can monitor that, and if somebody hears one and, you know, types it in, you'll get a notification, and then you can try and tune it in too. So I've done that. I've kept an eye on that website sometimes for pirates and number stations and weird stuff like that. But sometimes it's fun to just kind of scroll around, or tune around, scroll, because we're using this, and see what you can hear. But it is getting kind of late here, guys, and I'm getting kind of tired. You probably see me kind of attention drifted off here. So I think I will sign off. It looks like I've got some of my technical issues ironed out as far as live streaming goes. I'm not hearing any complaints about audio or dropouts or anything, so it seems like it's good enough here to at least have a casual session. So that's a good thing. I'm happy with that. So thanks everyone for tuning in tonight. I hope you enjoyed the live stream, and thanks guys for chatting and everything. That makes it a little more lively than just me kind of tuning around. So so everyone, yeah, I appreciate you stopping by. So Kaz says he's checked out HF Underground, but haven't spent much time on it. Number stations are fun because you don't know what's really going on, but because of that, you don't really have a reason to listen long. Yeah, that is a good point. But it is kind of cool to find them, because it would be neat to know what's going on, I guess. There's a mystique about it. But yeah, okay guys, 73s, thanks everyone for hanging in there, and we'll look for you again in the future. I'm not sure if I'm going to start doing regularly scheduled live stream here. I've thought about it, Friday nights or maybe Saturday nights or something, but haven't done it yet because I've got so many hardware issues. But now that it looks like we're getting somewhere with the hardware, maybe I'll try and start setting up something regular, and we can kind of tune around the bands, or maybe even fire up the radios and try and do like an HF hangout or something. But I think we'll call it a night here tonight. So again, thanks everyone for stopping in.